Good evening, everyone. My name is Tucker, and I'm here joined with Dallin. Dallin, say hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm just Dallin.
Dallin, thank you for being here this evening to assist me for this League of Legends semifinals match versus New Mexico State University. Let me take a little gander over here. Thank you for pointing that out. We've got all players in the lobby, so I think tech issues, at least for right now, have been solved, and it looks like we're actually getting right into the draft lull ban. Give me 1 second. All right, beauty.
Okay, so our first ban is Hui and Zyra on CEI side with Cho'Gath and Irelia on MS.
The Cho'Gath being a ban for New Mexico State, I think that is Artanis. You know, that's one of his mains right now, and he's been kind of wrecking havoc all season long, so no shock to see that there.
They pull both the Cho'Gath and the Dr. Mundo for Artanis. We'll see what he picks as his third pick. We also have the Zeri coming out as a ban for CEI. You don't want to have to play against that. Rek'Sai can be either played in the jungle or the top lane. Most commonly seen in the jungle, but I did overhear something about maybe on a top lane pick on this one.
You mean to tell me you've got intel?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
He's got intel. That's crazy. Interesting. So you're saying more than likely, because it could go top, it could go jungle, but you're thinking it's leaning toward
jungle.
Top lane there.
Artanis does have quite a bit of history on Rek'Sai, so he is very comfortable on that pick. For the enemy bot lane, we do have the Nautilus and the Jinx, a very strong early game bot lane with a lot of scaling with the Jinx. Great for fighting early.
And I think it's actually great timing that those picks specifically come in, because that was one thing that I wanted to highlight with New Mexico State specifically, is that seems to be the strongest part of their game is their bot lane. And so that's going to be something that we want to keep a close eye on as we go throughout this game, just to see how CEI pick into the bot lane, but then also how do they deal with New Mexico State's bot lane as well. So
absolutely, yeah. Our return on an ADC at least is the Ezreal. A lot of great mobility in that, especially against a hook champ like Nautilus. And then we also have a Lee Sin. Ooh, the Poppy pick here would be really detrimental to CEI because we do have a lot of mobility in our team comps so far.
So what makes well, it doesn't even matter.
Yep, we got Sejuani instead.
Fair enough. So thus far, like, what are some of the strengths that you're seeing? And we'll start with the side of CEI. Like, what might the team play and that kind of dynamic look like for CEI? I mean, we're only 3 picks in, but still.
We are only 3 picks in. CEI right now has a lot of mobility. Rek'Sai has ways to go under walls, over walls. Same with Ezreal and Lee Sin. So they can play in jungle with a lot of... without the walls really affecting their play here.
Okay.
Which is a very
optimal
strategy.
I could see that being used to, ward off through the jungle or try to punish, as if New Mexico State is on objective.
Absolutely. We do have a couple extra bans coming down in here. We have Ari on the side of CEI, Shen and Shaco being banned from Arizona.
New Mexico State.
New Mexico, my bad. All right.
And honestly, if you just want to go at NMSU.
NMSU. I'm going to trip over that so many times tonight.
I'll be right there with you. No worries.
And we also have the Renekton ban as well. We don't want to have a Rek'Sai going into a Renekton.
Why? Why is that?
See, I'm not a top laner, so I don't know all of the
No
matchups
worries.
there. Renekton does have a point-and-click stun, which would negate all of the mobility that the team has so far.
That makes sense.
Orianna being a control mage is a hard pick to play against with all of these mobile champions. However, with the mobility that they have, the control she has over them is a lot less.
There might be the opportunity to just kind of like skirt around the different abilities and whatnot.
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
Mordekaiser coming out here as our next pick. Mid lane, Mordekaiser has been a very popular pick here with Miss Engineer. and Wukong. So we have 3 junglers on the team. We have Rek'Sai, Lee Sin, and Wukong. We'll see how they kind of throw those together in Champ Select. But Ezreal is definitely going ADC. Like I said, I think Rek'Sai is going top. Wukong has been played by, and Lee Sin a little bit, has been played by Majora's Demise. We'll see where they go. Yone coming out right now. Looks like Yone top. Their team comp's pretty traditional. Our team comp is a little bit off meta, but you know, in a game of League of Legends where it's all based on comps and things like this, it could work.
For sure. Based on what you've seen so far over the course of the season for CEI, do you feel like more often than not it's been kind of off meta picks for CEI?
To an extent, yes. Yeah. They do have a lot of different picks that they're more comfortable on, that they have been throwing in different random roles, which like isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, comfortability is a #1 priority when playing a game like League of Legends. Yeah. So when you're comfortable on the pick, being able to play that is a lot easier.
So right now we're just waiting for the readies in the chat, and it looks like they are there. So we should be getting into client drafts, and we are. Okay.
So right now they're just picking those champs again that we already saw.
Hopefully, you know.
Lee Sin support. We're throwing in the Lee Sin as support.
Okay, interesting.
This will be an interesting pick here. They have a lot of damage early game, and we'll see how they scale towards the later game.
They being CEI.
Being CEI.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting.
They have a lot of good CC with the Mordekaiser Wukong combo.
Had you so obviously we know Lee Sin Wright is gonna go play support in bot lane. Right. Had you put money on it prior, where would you have leaned? Like Wukong going bot lane, or
Wukong is usually more of a support than Lee Sin.
Okay.
And Lee Sin is usually played jungle. I don't know that I've seen a lot of Lee Sin has been played mid lane a little bit this season. It's not as popular as it has been in other seasons, but Lee Sin is usually played in the jungle. So this will be an interesting matchup with the traditional ADC and support with the enemy team here.
Okay.
So we do have the 3-minute
spectator
delay, right?
The lovely additional 3-minute spectator delay. We'll just leave it on this screen while we're here. I think, you know, I'm also going to bring up just a little bit of tunes in the background while we wait, just so there's a little bit to fill some of the potential silence here. But if you had to, you know, kind of declare like who won draft, and obviously it's very speculative, but like if you had to lean one way or the other based on draft alone, how are you feeling so far?
Based on draft alone, the enemy comp is a very traditional comp in the sense that they have their frontline tanks, their backline carries, their control,
right?
And CEI's is kind of a little bit off meta in the fact that they're throwing different champions in different roles that they're not usually played in. However, they still have a lot of frontline, with only Ezreal being the backline here. So
interesting.
Their range is very limited in this playstyle, and with the Orianna on the enemy team, they're going to be very grouped up in the front line. So this may be the enemy team's comp here. However, it all comes down to skill and skill expression and how they play it out. So.
Right. So, I mean, that's going to be one of the things, and that's honestly been one of the themes for CEI over the course of the season, is how well can we coordinate to secure a win, to not necessarily, you know, make too many missteps, because we have seen some of those missteps over the course of the season where players are not in a great position, and so they are punished. And so that's going to be one of the things that I'm looking for is, you know, New Mexico State, no slouch, right? They deserve to be here. They deserve to be in the semifinals game. So CEI is going to have to play a relatively clean game and not give up too much, because we don't want that to spiral. And as you have said, you know, the composition for the side of CEI, it's going to be early damage, but what does scaling look like moving forward? What might the late game stages be like for CEI?
I will say CEI wants to win this game as soon as they possibly can.
Okay,
because a lot of the champions do not scale nearly as well as the enemy team. Jinx scales really well. Yone scales pretty well with items. So those are going to be the who we're looking at carrying the enemy team. Our side, Ezreal is going to be a lot of our early game damage. However, it should be. You did say, you know, people getting caught out, and I don't know how much that's going to be too big of an issue here.
Right.
Specifically because all of the champions on CEI have mobility or peel for themselves, and are able to get out of those stickier situations when they're caught out in the jungle or pushed too far up in lane.
All right, there we are.
So we just got a loading screen, and then we'll see where we are.
So for the composition specifically, and again, just kind of looking at CEI first, you know, there's been quite a bit of focus as far as like objectives go for the side of CEI.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
Sorry about that. Just fixing in-game settings real quick. We are back.
So we did miss a little bit of a fiasco in the top lane. They did fight in the Baron pit, and Yone had to flash over the wall. So he is down flash during this early laning phase, which could have a very detrimental impact on his lane.
Dude, props for you for catching that, staying focused there. Appreciate it. So then as we kind of look at from lane to lane, right? So we have Rek'Sai and then Yone. I mean, are either of those like legends, does one counter the other a little bit more, or is that kind of who's going to be able to play their legend a little bit better?
Champion?
Yeah. Yes, thank
you. They both have a lot of mobility. Yone with his E being able to go in and out of fights very, very quickly, and Rek'Sai with his tunnels being able to run around the map. I will say Rek'Sai probably has the better gank potential of other lanes over the Yone, but I'm not super knowledgeable of either of those champions to an extent to say which one would be a better pick in this top lane. It looks like Artanis is losing the health battle here, but he is up on CS, so never mind. That was a really good trade by Artanis, bringing Yone down to about half and tying up those HP bars.
A little bit of scuffle across all lanes right now. Only...
Could this be a first blood right here? Bone plating comes up right at the end. Doesn't even get any value out of it at all.
Very close there. Pierre just, you know, kind of playing with fire a little bit, and Artanis just looking to keep up the pressure and not, you know, make things too easy here in the early game.
I will say, with the hook champ bot lane, you want to be next to your own turret. So being this far pushed up on CEI is not good for the enemy team here.
So it is going to be up, like you said, early on for that mobility, especially on Rek'Sai, to not, you know, get hooked and then brought under tower.
Right, yeah. Down here in the bot lane, the Lee Sin is able to go in and out of fights very, very handily. And the crazy thing about Ezreal is even if he gets hooked, he can still E out of it.
Wow. So what are some of the things that maybe CEI are going to want to look to do to try to gain like an early foothold as we progress throughout this game?
So kills are always a good option.
Sure, yeah, of course.
But when kills are not available, CSing is a very, very important way to get gold and establish your lead in a lane. We're getting a gank mid here. Looks like nothing much is going to come out of it.
Just saying hello is Majora's, letting his presence be known.
Running around the edge here. Sejuani is hovering bot lane here. Coming
Interesting.
In, finding this gank. A couple flashes are exchanged here, but nobody dies.
Again, just the presence. Hey, just a reminder, I'm here.
Sejuani used flash. Ezreal has used flash and ghost, and heal, and Jinx has used ghost. So Jinx still has her flash available on over the CEI ADC.
Relatively even as far as CS goes. Just across the board, some lanes winning over others, but collectively...
CEI does have a 300 gold lead right now, but it's not a whole lot in the grand scheme of the game. But they are doing better on CS, absolutely. Looks like we are going for the Void Grubs right now. Majora's Demise is taking them solo. Sejuani is on her Raptors right now. She might be pathing that way to kind of see what's going on.
Potential there for Artanis, but it'll just be damage traded thus far.
So it looks like Void Grubs are going straight over to CEI. First spawn in another 3 minutes. The next round will spawn, and we'll see where those ones end up.
So looking at timers, first Drake, correct? Up in
Yes.
30 seconds. What Drake is that?
Is up right now is an Infernal Drake.
Okay.
Which gives you a damage boost on your attack damage or ability power. They did look to start it, but they were pushed off. Miss Engineer coming in here, getting the first blood and falling.
Traded back and forth right now. Still the
But
bot
that is-
lane
That is
there.
the jungler for the mid laner. We do have Smite available. It looks like they have 3 on the dragon. We have 3 in the area. They're all low. They have to back off. Sejuani coming back down bottom side. See if they can get the Drake. Oh, it looks like they pulled off the Drake as well. Nobody's going for it yet.
Why is that? Are they just trying to create space right now so they have the time needed to take care of Drake, so that way it's not necessarily stolen? Could be.
Honestly, it could be anything. They are pushing a massive wave through the bot lane right now, which has the potential to get turret plates or anything like that. However, both bot laners are here to collect that XP. They do get the plate, so that is another little bit of gold in the pocket. We're up to a 700 gold lead right now.
Gotcha. So Majora's did back, so he's no longer hovering over objective.
Correct. We do have Sejuani looking at that bot lane, trying to find a way to go in. Nautilus is very low here, so there's not a lot of counterplay that Nautilus can do here without risk of dying. Lee Sin working as a support there. Holy cow, getting so much damage on without much in return.
Actually, though. And again, damage is traded in the top lane. Artanis, the American
Artanis
sniper.
making his CS lead to 22.
Wow, okay.
Almost doubling Yone's.
I think that right there, that might be the opening for CEI as we move later into the game.
Gets a free turret play while he's farming that wave.
There you go. So I'm still kind of keeping my eye on that Drake, right? I'm just curious to see who will eventually initiate that.
I will say we do have the scuttle in that and a couple things of vision, but the enemy team also has vision in the area as well. So it's going to be very hard to sneak that Drake if we want to take it without them seeing.
Sure.
We
And
are clearing up that vision though.
yeah.
We're down to one ward in the mid brush.
And another thing that I noticed right now is just that gold lead is starting to grow for CEI. We're up to 1.1k right now.
We are indeed. We have, looks like Majora's Demise is on the dragon right now and taking it solo. Trying to sneak that before anybody can see it.
Interesting play, because as it stands, all lanes on the side of New Mexico occupied currently.
Yep, we get the dragon. Easy steal there. I mean, no, it's not even a steal. It was just a sneak.
Yeah, totally.
Solo. We've got a lot of solo objectives so far with Majora's Demise. It is very, very good for us so far. We do see the Sejuani and the Yone creeping down into the jungle. We'll see if they're looking to steal that blue buff.
Oh, and I wonder if they look to potentially make a play on top lane or send 3, but it is the Yone retreating back to top lane, going to come across Artanis there. Able to land a little bit of damage, but nothing to be too worried about on the side of New Mexico
It looks
State.
like Majora's Demise did end up getting that smite steal on the buff.
There we go.
Sejuani leashing that straight form right into those void grubs. Getting 6 of those grubs is going to be very, very important for ending the game early as you have so much more pushing power. Ezreal coming down to clean up as much of that wave as he can so they don't have as much pushing power in the bot lane here. Miss Engineer helping out with these grubs. They do have some vision, but with our red trinkets we can go ahead and clear those out.
Yone just thought about lurking there just for a moment, but will go back to the top lane. Mess around with Artanis just for a moment.
Okay, so we do have those 6 void grubs and the first dragon. We have all of the objectives on the map so far.
Wow.
Pushing our gold lead up to 1.2 thousand. It's looking good so far.
Honestly, I mean, yes, the objectives have gone our way so far, and sure, it's only a 1-kill lead, but overall, it does kind of feel like a little bit of a stalemate.
Absolutely. There isn't a lot going on Summoner's Rift here. We've had a couple fights, but nothing crazy so far. This fight breaks out in the bot lane here. Looks like Nautilus gets a little bit of CC on them, but Jinx is too far away to follow up with any damage. Another skirmish in the top lane here. Battle between the Titans. Nobody ever dies.
Yeah, no kidding.
Both junglers covering mid lane. Majora's Demise with those smite steals. Every single one so far that we've seen gets scuttled there as well.
For the layman like me, the fine scuttle.
So the Scuttle's Crab is the beetle-looking thing that runs around the river.
Fair. Gotcha.
When it's slain, it goes back to the middle of the river and puts basically a ward or vision that is very, very helpful. After 20 minutes, however, when the Scuttle is slain, it will also give a reveal of all of the enemies. Ooh, trading flashes here. Tower diving.
Oh, no!
No! Artanis thinking he has a little bit more damage than he can come up with.
Wow.
Skirmish in the bot lane here as well.
Oh, no, that is bot lane.
This is
down. Wow, the double
Okay,
kill for the Jinx.
So our gold lead is now flat. We do not have any sort of gold lead here. We did surrender 3 kills there. One is a solo and one is with 3 assists there.
I can understand the coordination that happened in the bot lane. Maybe those deaths are a little bit more forgivable overall. it just seemed like a lot of aggression coming out of the top lane from Artanis, thinking that he could take care of the Yone. I don't know if you saw something different than I am describing here, but it just kind of seemed like maybe a little bit of overconfidence in the top lane.
It probably was overconfidence. He did burn that flash, so Artanis did have to follow up with his flash to try and get that sealed. But the E shield for Yone was just too much to overcome with the damage that Rek'Sai can put out at this point in the game. However, Rek'Sai did end up backing and buying his first full item, Heartsteel, so he can start stacking that health and being more of a menace to society here.
And the bottom lane shoving a wave, trying to take put more damage onto that bottom tower. So at what point are we out of early game, right? Because we had talked about how early game might be a little bit more favorable for CEI just because they could put out a little bit more damage. But when do the tides turn?
So early game is 1 to 2 items.
Okay.
When people are starting to hit those 3 item power spikes, those that scale better with items are going to be a lot stronger in this format here. Ooh, Yone going back in a little bit. He can't quite hit that Heartsteel proc. One of the most satisfying noises right there in League of Legends is hitting that Heartsteel. We do have 4 hovering Drake here. Enemy 4 are also hovering Drake, so we do clear out as much vision as we see. Fights breaking out. Sejuani going in. Being able to get that knock up on the Sejuani.
Okay, Freezer down, but the trade comes across.
Misengineer in the back line here, trying to kill that Jinx. She has her Frenzy stacks and is able to get the triple.
Oh, man.
Double? Just the double, okay.
CEI coming out worse for wear. More trades going the way of New Mexico State.
I will say, however, they did not secure the dragon there, so it's not as detrimental as it could have been. Gold lead is still even here.
That's crazy. You know, we've actually seen that over the course of the season for a couple of the games where kills were going the way of the opposition. However, gold still remaining relatively even, and CEI just able to play on objective to get the buffs and power-ups that they need to move forward.
Absolutely. Objectives give a lot of resources to the team that does end up managing to get them.
That makes sense. I think that's one of the great things about League of Legends is that there often is a way back into the game. Tech difficulties, a little bit of a pause here. Spooky. We're gonna cut away for just a moment. Sorry, everybody. A little bit of a game freeze on our end. Give us one moment. A little bit of a tech issue. We'll be back here shortly. Alrighty, so we are into the draft lull. Starting off into the bands. What do we see so far, Dallin?
Same bands as last time.
Okay, interesting.
Let's see if we fill. Yep, exact same.
Okay,
first round
interesting.
Bands. We got the Hui, the Zeri, and the Xayah. Looking for a couple of ADCs and a mid laner on the team of CEI, and the Cho'Gath Mundo as top laners. I mean, Irelia is top laner too, but Misengineer has been known to play her in the mid lane this season. So we'll see where we're starting off with. We're starting off CEI first picking again because the enemy did want that red side. We're going with the Rek'Sai again.
Interesting. I
If it
wonder.
ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, right. To a degree, and again, like we weren't privy to like all of late game, so I'm curious to see if there's going to be a little bit of a different play style. If because it seemed like there were a few opportunities where Artanis on Rek'Sai maybe overstepped a few bounds, right? And so I wonder if it'd be a little bit more disciplined gameplay that way. So
So they were hovering the Nautilus again, but they ended up choosing the Rel to go along with their ADC, hovering the Jinx as well. Rel
interesting.
has slightly different playstyle over the Nautilus. She is not a hook champ, but she does have a lot of that CC and lockdown that Nautilus does provide as well, which is better into an Ezreal if they do end up going the Ezreal route again as well. Sticking with the Jinx though.
Yeah, that's fair. It seemed like the Jinx, and again, we only caught the first 16 minutes before game froze and whatever, but I mean, it seemed like the Jinx was relatively consistent, steady, there for the fights, hitting just about everything. So again, perhaps the mentality of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We weren't even able to see final scoreboards at the end of game 1, so I'm not so sure what that all looked like, but Shaco.
So this is one of Wardbringer's favorite picks is this Shaco here. Is going to be going into that Rel. Early I will say is going to be a little bit easier for the Jinx and the Rel to kind of dominate that lane, because Shaco does not have a lot of presence until half an item, a full item, and a couple levels on him. So this may have to be another passive bot lane on the side of CEI, especially with the stacking Smolder. However, late game this is going to be a lot easier for CEI to close out the game. Once the Smolder hits that 225 stack mark and gets his execute, it'll be hard for the enemy team to be able to fight.
Yeah, right. It's just going to be late game being the key there for Smolder. It could be a dominated bot lane by the side of CEI. So Vi now coming out
Vi is
for
a
New
jungle.
Mexico State. Okay, interesting.
She has a lot of single target lockdown, which if you have one opponent that is very, very fed or way ahead, you can use Vi to lock down that specific person. Gangplank ban comes out here. We already have the top laner, so that's probably pointed towards the mid lane here. Whoever they're looking to play mid lane doesn't want to play against a Gangplank.
I'm not sure Miss Engineer has ever played this champion.
Miss Engineer is usually a top laner, so they do have a very solid grasp on most of the top lane champions,
Right.
and I believe they have played Gangplank. They haven't played a lot of it this season, so I don't know. Ooh, they're banning the Mordekaiser potentially? Would,
And then this was Renekton.
again, yes.
Correct. Okay, interesting. Although, even with the two different picks for bot lane, specifically on the side of CEI, it does seem like a little bit of a play style change than what we saw for first game composition. It seems as if this will provide a little bit more balance through all phases of game. But as you have mentioned, having Smolder and then the stacks like late game, that's going to be very strong.
So Ezreal and Smolder are very, very similar in play style, because they're both built more like mages than traditional ADCs.
Gotcha.
They more focus on their spells instead of their auto attacking. Weaving in autos is very, very important for any ADC, because that is where a lot of your damage comes from, because you do build AD and attack damage in that sense. However, these champions do focus a lot on their spells, and especially with Smolder with his Q is his bread and butter.
Right.
Being able to get those stacks early is very, very important. We do have the Orianna ban coming out for CEI, so they don't want to play into that again. So we're going to have at least 4 new picks on the side of the enemy team here. We're going with the Victor mid lane. Okay.
Interesting.
We are blind picking that. The Cassante into the top lane. The only thing that we don't know yet is what their mid lane is. Our jungle is going to potentially be the Maokai here. We are locking in the Maokai. That's a lot of CC. We do have a lot of long range damage with the Smolder and the Victor being able to get in and out of fights with Shaco. This seems like a pretty solid team comp so far.
Oh, just looking at chat real quick while we've got Red comment. How did game 1 go? Game 1 went the way of CEI. We weren't able to capture it on stream. We do apologize again for that. Like has been mentioned, Riot indie company. Oh well, right? Life goes on a little bit. 'Tis the situation. But it like was mentioned earlier, again, if you're just joining us, it came down to basically last team fight. And that team fight occurred on New Mexico State's side, and then CEI just kind of able to run it down and end game there. Relatively close fight as well. That could have gone either way, although it would not have been as punishable by New Mexico State. So,
and we did see that the last pick on New Mexico State's
Ari
was Ari in the mid lane.
Yep.
So the Ari Victor matchup will be the most traditional in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have to see how it plays out.
So Majora's in the in jungle for the most part has been playing Maokai for basically the entirety of the season. More often than not, there's been a few other champions that he's selected, but I think that may serve him a little bit better, and I think that provides a little bit of calm maybe for the rest of their team, just to know that their jungle is on, a champion that is going to serve the team well as a whole.
So Maokai does kind of fulfill the same role as the Wukong in the last comp.
Sure.
With the ultimate CC and being able to get in on those team fights. However, Vi has a lot stronger of an early game and will be able to take those early objectives like the Wukong did last game.
Gotcha.
So picking the Maokai here is going to be able to secure the end game a little bit easier. However, that early sneaking of those objectives may not be towards the side of CEI, depending on where they place their vision.
Right. It's not going to be as the objective game can't be just individuals on the side of CEI. It's going to have to favor more team fights, I guess, in order to secure objectives there. So we do get the lovely 3-minute spectator delay, and then we will be hopping into the game. To ask again, I suppose. So these aren't necessarily traditional picks, for specific lanes, but if you were to lean, let's talk about early game, right? New Mexico State or CEI, which way would you go as far as early game?
Early game, I'm gonna say this one's actually more towards New Mexico.
Okay.
With the Smolder stacking and the Victor stacking, they're gonna be looking more towards those mid-game, late-game team fights. The Jinx still does scale well with items, so she is still going to be a very high priority target in the late game.
Right.
However, they are going to be able to have a little bit more of that damage to burst those frontliners. However, the Rel and the Cassante are very, very beefy frontliners for the side of New Mexico, so getting through them is going to be a task all in of itself. I am curious to see whether the Shaco goes AD or AP here. I'm thinking if I were playing it, I'd probably play it AP, specifically for the damage of those boxes that he has when he is able to kite out the frontliners whenever they try to dive into the side of CEI. But like I said, this could go either way. I will say I like CEI's late game a little bit better than New Mexico's, but I like New Mexico's early game. So
Fair.
If they can close it out quickly here, CEI might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I think that was kind of our expectation for CEI in game 1. What we were able to see was that hopefully they would excel in the early game, and it wasn't quite there. Honestly,
No.
It wasn't up to snuff as far as CEI is concerned. It seemed like they faltered quite a bit in the early game. New Mexico State able to kind of, they let in kills, and at last we saw, gold was relatively even, but it didn't seem like it was the standard that they would have wanted to uphold in that early game.
And up until that last team fight, New Mexico did have a kill advantage on CEI. Even with that last team fight, I believe they still held that kill advantage by 1 or 2 kills. However, it went a lot longer than I expected the game to go. It was like 35 minutes. And I expected the Jinx to be a lot higher of a priority. However, they were able to use that Mordekaiser ult to pull the Jinx out of the fight. The Jinx did have a Quicksilver Sash and was able to pull out of Mordekaiser ult, but there was just enough time there that allowed the team of CEI to regroup in that team fight and be able to win it.
Right. Just waiting for the game to load in. We'll make sure we get the settings taken care of. Say goodbye to Lo-Fi. Okay. Otherwise, I think we're square. I think we've got it there. Cool. Right on.
Okay, so we're looking at a
30 seconds until minions spawn.
good defense here. Nobody's looking for an invade or anything like that, so
There we are. Okay, wonderful.
everybody's just hovering their lanes in the river here and staring at each other basically without looking at each other.
Copium with the copium. Bush camping. So, always a little bit of, I mean, there's sometimes some cheese plays at the very beginning.
Minions have spawned.
I think there was an attempt of some type of cheese play, if I recall, in game 1, but I don't know. It didn't seem like it benefited either team.
Yone did have to burn his flash, but however, this game he didn't even take flash. The Cassante is running Ghost and Teleport, which means in team fights he'll be able to run a lot faster, but won't have the instant burst movement speed of the flash.
So, any counter picks coming out from either team, from what we saw? I mean, and again, we saw basically half the game.
I
Is
will
all.
say, the enemy team is going for a little bit more of that bruiser-heavy tank frontline with the Rel and the Cassante, because Cassante has a lot more front wall potential than Yone did. However, Yone has a lot more damage than Cassante could put out when he's not within his R stance.
Gotcha, okay.
New Mexico is also going leashless, giving their bot lane the priority in this lane here, pushing as far in as they could almost on the second wave. However, that may not be good for CEI or for New Mexico, because CEI is wanting to kind of play safe here at the beginning and get as much poke in as they can.
Right, right. Because as you were saying, Shaco will become way more effective as his half item or full item. And that is a little bit of a ways off right now.
Shaco did go the Arcane Comet, so he is most likely going AP.
There you go, good for you. Great read. Great read.
Rel already threw all of her potions, still at half HP. Good trade coming out in the game here. Looks like Vi might be going for a 4-camp bot lane here. CEI is pushed up. Very well could spell bad for CEI, but they see it and they move back with plenty of time before the gank can even happen. Majora's Demise with the full camp clear. Looking... Ooh.
Okay.
Burns flash and still dies. Artanis with the solo.
Interesting. I don't recall. First Blood, game 1, went the way of CEI, correct? But I believe it was an early trade.
It was an early trade. Miss Engineer did get First Blood for
right.
CEI and then traded their life back.
And it looks like an opportunity to trade for the side of CEI.
Ghost is going to let him get under tower, but Artanis is still going to be able to get that kill returned.
To get the revenge, so to speak.
However, Cassante is backing with that kill gold, where Artanis only got to back with his minion gold.
Fair point. Still, though, I mean, sure, only 300 gold lead right now for the side of CEI, but lead nonetheless. As Void Grubs get ready to spawn here, it's very interesting to see what that kind of tactic moving forward will look like for the objective game on the side of CEI. Because as you noted earlier, you know, they were able to kind of take some of those objectives on a little bit more of an individual level, and it seems like there's going to be more of a team effort in order to grab those objectives.
Looks like Artanis is going down for these Void Grubs right now. We have 3 on the enemy team looking mid to catch Miss Engineer out. Hasn't jumped yet. They're kind of just hovering.
Interesting.
Looks like Vi's going to go start getting her jungles, and Rel is going to start walking back down bot lane. Warbringer out here, out, caught, potentially. He's able to just walk it out.
Fair enough. That could have been a close call. I was curious to see, because there was 3 on the side of New Mexico State there, just kind of floating in the mid lane. I was curious if there was going to be some sort of strategy just to execute, just to try to do something.
They potentially could have turret dived there. However, Vi has skipped a lot of camps while she's running around here.
Fair.
So she is only level 4. She does not have ultimate quite yet, so her CC is not nearly as much as they needed to tower dive here yet. We did miss, while we were looking bot lane, we did miss the Void Grubs being taken by CEI. However, it looks like Artanis might be in trouble here again.
Still surviving for the time being, but
Yeah, makes it all the way down to mid lane, and skirmish happens here in the bot lane. Marmalade going down.
ooh, Copium gonna channel back.
Rel did snag that kill, so it doesn't go on a carry, which is good for CEI.
Silver lining. Gold still even.
Artanis gonna have to walk back to lane. No TP available right now.
Old fashioned. Hoof it. Oh well.
Looks like Majora's Demise is on Dragon right now. Victor is there to support. And the bot lane is showing in lane. Rel and Vi coming down to collapse on this dragon potentially. They don't have vision, so they don't know if anybody's on it.
Fair. And Jinx not too far away either, but Drake.
Drake is secured. That's a Cloud Drake on the side of CEI, giving them a little bit more movement speed out of fights. Movement speed is one of the most important stats you can have in this game. Got a kind of a failed gank on mid lane there.
Yeah.
Diving a little bit deeper than maybe needed to.
Seemingly, you know, lucky to get away with life there. I was
Taking
waiting
the
to see if
turret
there's
shot
exactly. I was going to see if there's going to be turret shots coming out to
If
finish.
Vi was level 6, that would have been a lot worse for CEI, because Vi could have queued in and bolted onto the Maokai and would have probably spelled disaster for the Maokai there, but since they're both still level 5, they had a chance.
Oh,
Vi
and
coming up to the top lane, securing the kill with ult. Cassante takes another one. Actually, no, Vi took that one.
yeah. What is that? Still level 5 for Vi right now.
Yes. Vi has a ton of camps up right now. So as soon as she clears those out, she should hit level 6.
So far, early game for Vi, just been roaming seemingly all over the map thus far.
Absolutely.
Not
That
too
is-
focused on jungle.
Kind of the point of Vi with that CC, with that engage ability, with her, with the Q, being able to knock up.
So Void Grubs.
Majora's Demise looking to just harass the Cassante a little bit. Not much to do against him.
I wonder if he's trying to pressure the Cassante and maybe bring in Artanis. A little bit of action here in the bot lane, just trying to shove wave up to turret and Shaco? Doing Shaco things. Interesting.
How many stacks we got in this game so far? Looks like he's at 71 stacks.
Is that relatively on pace? Because I know there is sort of a pace as far as the stacks go.
I've seen Smolders get their 225. The 225 is the magic number that we're looking for.
Artanis taking down Vi. Opportunity for a second
Double
here.
kill here. And Smolder gets the kill on the Rel as well in the bot lane. 3 kills go to the side of CEI.
Now, I didn't catch if the first Void Grub went.
Yes, so
Oh, gotcha.
we do have 5 Void Grubs right now. They're securing the last one.
Excellent.
And now we have all 6. With the Dragon as well, we are stacking those objectives just like we did last game.
Well played so far by CEI. Nearly a, we'll call it 1.5k gold lead.
CEI
1.4.
has gotten 2 plates in the bottom lane. Nobody else has got plates quite yet. So that's where some of that gold is coming from, also with those objectives. CS is looking pretty even across the board here, though. There's not one lane that's way far ahead except for jungle. Majority Demise is a little bit further ahead than that wide.
True. Otherwise,
Full level ahead at this point.
yeah. Otherwise, no significant CS differences.
Top lane is going a lot better for New
Artanis.
Mexico this time.
Oh, fair. I was gonna say Artanis, seemingly just because it seemed like there was a couple opportunities where
He did get the double kill mid lane,
Yeah.
so that kind of threw him way back into the lead there.
right.
But he is behind on CS, which he usually doesn't get behind on CS. So
Right.
It's kind of impressive that they're keeping him. He is on par right now with Cassante coming back to lane right now. So
Okay.
he was
But-
able to close that gap.
Even on that kind of level, keeping Artanis in check compared to other games.
Absolutely. Looks like we are looking for a dive here on bot lane. It's gonna be scooping out an easy double kill here. We got a TP coming in. Do they have anywhere to go with this?
So I believe that's a 2-for-1 trade. 2 kills going the way of CEI. Meanwhile, Miss Engineer not able to stay alive and was the 1 kill back in favor for New Mexico State. But however, 3 players here in the bot lane looking to chase down our bot lane. And that's going to be Marmy going down. Shaco trying just to back.
It was too much for the side of CEI. They're able, Cassandra's able to run it down with Miss Engineer able to get a return kill there. There still are 3 down in the bot lane. I don't know how much further he wants to push out. He might get caught out here. Rel misses her stun, but Ari hits her charm.
And just like that, all tied up as far as kills are concerned. Still roughly 2k gold lead for the side of CEI.
And in the top lane here, Artanis able to get that Heartsteel proc off, start stacking that HP. TP coming out for the side of Ari on that dragon. Looks like they're going to be able to secure that without any trouble.
Potentially, Maokai,
Not
Majoris.
right next to the pit here, but doesn't have too much pressure.
I had seen him attempt to go for steals in games gone by. I was just curious to see if that was going to be something there as well.
Smolder with the completed Essence Weaver to the Jinx not having a full item yet. Bot lane is looking like really good, solid on CEI's side this time. See what happens. Oh, they're just gonna walk away.
It is just feeling a little bit of kind of the calm before the storm. I say that here's a little bit of a skirmish in the bot lane.
The Heartsteel proc is always the best sound we got. Close to finishing that Cole. on that Rek'Sai.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
There we go. First turret.
Triple gank on the top lane here.
Oh.
Able to pull him away with that ultimate coming out. It's now a 2v3.
And that may have been a little bit of an overstep
Vi
right
is
there.
going to be able to try and run away here, but still gets taken down. They may be able to find the Ahri here as well. She just gets back to the turret. That's going to clear those camps and deny as much as they can from that Vi. Going straight for the Rift Herald as well. This could be a huge play with 6 Void Grubs. Herald is a force to be reckoned with.
I wonder if the intel was there for, what was that, Ahri in mid after that first initial fight. But it didn't seem like CEI were too interested in that at the moment. Just a little bit of a reset for themselves. Right now, actually, we're looking at a 4.7K lead. I mean, make that effectively 5. Yeah.
Smolder is up to his splash damage on his Q. He's getting those stacks. Doesn't quite have enough to get that execute yet, but we're closer.
Three players here for the side of New Mexico State. Just hovering this mid turret. Seemingly trying to find a little bit of an opening there. Maybe initiate another team fight.
I love how it goes up, gets the hard step proc, goes away. Looks like everybody's backing off that mid lane. Ahri's pushing the bot lane out. We'll see if he can get this turret.
And listen, just for the stream as a whole, I just want to congratulate everyone on making it past the 16-minute mark. I've just jinxed us all. If there is wood near you, I need you to knock on wood that the spectator continues to work for the remainder of the stream. That would be excellent. Prayers in the chat for Riot spectating. Thank you, thank you. CEI. Summon Rift Herald.
All of the Void Mites spawning because they have the Void Grubs there.
This is beginning to get a little bit out of hand.
Able to hit that second turret as well. Looking for a kill on this Rel, and they get it. Nobody's there to support the Rel. She's in a little bit too deep.
I mean, if I had to call one thing, it seems like things are getting out of hand a little bit for New Mexico State. That gold lead just continuing to increase, and then seemingly needless kills being given up. I say that, and
that's the mobility of Rek'Sai.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know, even with the ghost pop there, he had 2 tunnels that he could just run away with.
That is frustrating for the Cassante, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. If the Cassante had ult there, he probably could have won that fight. It looks like mid turret did not end up going down to that Rift Herald. Managed to keep it up just barely. Very, very low though. So any tickle
spit on it. Yeah, exactly. That sounds way more friendly. Tickle it. It's going down. Disregard the spit.
Jinx is at a point where she can one-shot Shaco boxes. So unless you can pre-place boxes, Shaco is gonna start falling off here.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how relevant, Shaco can remain in this game to provide just the support needed.
AP Shaco gets really, really strong with his boxes, but if he can't put down those boxes, then it's really hard for him to impact the map. Looks like Dragon is up here. Just freshly spawned. We'll see if they try and fight for it right now, or if they let CEI take this one.
Yeah. Majora's in Misengineer just kind of hovering. We do have 4 players in the area.
It could be a 4v4. Arya's kind of off to the side here. Looks like they don't want to fight it. Looks like they'll just kind of push this mid wave out and let CEI take the Dragon because they have too much pressure on the map already. Arcanus gets his heart or his demolish proc on that tower. Gets his heart steal proc.
Mean. How mean.
Might not quite have the damage. He does have the damage.
Unstoppable.
Just kind of imposing his will on the Cassante there in the top lane.
Ultimate comes out, but he makes great use of it to get that kill.
And him being a menace in the top lane is just creating so much space, honestly, because it makes other players for New Mexico State have to focus.
Finally falls.
Yeah, right. But meanwhile, that fight was happening in the top lane with Artanis, CEI comfortably, and we kind of already saw the beginnings of it, just comfortably able to take that second Drake.
Vi, Hail Mary play. Throwing it at the
interesting.
Throwing at the ADC, but not really getting much out of it. Has to back off and even back all the way back to base. Flash comes out from Miss Engineer though.
It's a 9K gold lead right now.
Yes, yes it is.
So, although it's super easy just to look at kills and say, oh, well, it's only a 4-kill lead, it's really the items and everything on the side of CEI that are going to be really just, again, imposing the will.
They got both dragons, they got the Rift Herald, which gave them turrets.
All 6 Void Grubs.
Both spawns of Void Grubs, which allowed them to scale this game so hard. I was talking that they were going to have a better late game, but
right.
no, they're pushing this early lead very well.
They are.
Artanis just tanking that Ori damage like it's nothing.
Wow, and Rel going down, as is the Jinx.
They might just try and push this one. Oh, they're going for the Baron.
Fair enough.
Artanis is going to push this wave all the way to turret, see what damage he can get in. But Baron is probably going to go down to the side of CEI without any issue whatsoever. They got 4 people in the area where all of New Mexico is in their base.
And again, Artanis just kind of taking the space being given to him, just kind of being a nuisance, so that way it gives this kind of false sense of security. I'm not so sure what New Mexico State might be feeling, but here we are.
Curious how many stacks Marlo have on Smolder. Once we get to that 225, it's going to be even harder for New Mexico to come back.
Just a little bit of a reset. Honestly, feeling like the calm before the storm. It seems like it could just be one more team fight, and if it goes the way of CEI, that could be game potentially.
You know, just a little thing there. I did not know that Maokai could push jungle camps over walls. He had to run around the wall to get that one. So now with this Baron buff, we'll see how much they can do with it. Ult coming down on that Smolder.
Oh.
Smolder ult's gonna save him for a second.
Oh, shut
but
down.
He still goes down, giving a 300 gold bounty. Wardbringer does manage to make it out safely though.
CEI Maokai, Majora's I should say, and Wardbringer just kind of sticking around in mid, and that's Miss Engineer not able to get away.
Just getting solo killed by the Cassante. When Cassante presses R and goes all out, it's a lot of damage coming your way.
Still no turrets taken for this side of New Mexico. 7 right now taken for CEI.
The Baron power play though, they haven't really got a lot from it.
Yeah, there's not been a lot of value so far.
They've lost a few of those with the Baron buff. So there's only a couple of them with it left. Nobody's showing on map. New Mexico does not know where anybody is.
Curious to see how CEI kind of collects themselves after giving up 2 kills there to really kind of move into the late game.
Miss Engineer was trying to push that top lane out, was not able to with the Cassante defending there.
Oh,
They
were not expecting that.
Here. It looks like a 3v3. Smolder's way in the mid lane. Ari gonna be able to get out with her ultimate. Smolder coming in with his R, calling down Mom on his enemies. Marmalade getting that kill on that Vi. Titans are battling it out in the side lane here.
My. And the Cassante.
Cassante ulting him over the wall into the base.
Okay.
Everybody's joining the fright.
Rel down, Cassante left.
That looks like an ace for CEI. If they can have these lanes pushed in, it might just be game.
I mean, not necessarily the biggest reset timers for 3 of the players on New Mexico State, so they might be able to contest just for a moment. But
CEI has the health bars. They could
Yes,
dive
exactly.
this if they really want to. Looks like they're going to back off and go for this dragon here.
Interesting. Interesting.
It is definitely the safer play to do this. And like I said, the longer this game goes on, the harder it is going to be to defeat CEI with the scaling of that smolder.
And just like that, 3rd Drake taken. Now, is it an additional buff that's given if it's 3 of the same Drake, or is it just 3?
So every Drake, when you take it, gives you
Sure.
a certain buff.
Sure.
The Chemtech Drakes that we're taking right now are giving us heal and shield power.
Sure.
And maybe something else. I don't know what it is. But when you finally get that 4th Drake, no matter how many Drakes you have, will give you the soul buff.
Gotcha, the 4th Drake. Yeah, I was trying to remember that.
And Chemtech Soul is kind of insane. It gives you a lot of damage when you're under half health, and a lot of movement speed when you're above half health. I remember. Game just ended. Looks like I'm gonna assume that's a CEI win.
We'll see.
Strictly because
Yeah.
New Mexico hasn't taken a tower yet,
Yeah.
and we are in their base with 2 lanes. But we'll let this game play out, and we'll see where we stand at the end. Marmalade does have his execute, so he is just melting people now.
Holy, Cassante down.
Cassante down. Double kill.
Rel down.
Doesn't quite get the triple. Oh, he does get the triple.
Oh, okay, he barely snagged
Watch
that.
this penta. Watch this penta.
Let him do it. Are they going to let him do it?
Everybody dive. Everybody dive. Get the... Who took that one? It was him.
Okay, that's 4.
It was too long. Didn't quite get the quadra kill there.
That's tough.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Jinx, or Ari is the last one alive, trying to get as much damage as he can on those carries before the towers go down. Both towers are down. Nexus is open. They get a kill on Miss Engineer. Marmalade getting in there with her Qs.
So close to being able...
The base is completely open. They're gonna have to play base defense for the next 5 minutes while those inhibitors respawn.
And there just might be
Is this gonna be a Shaco?
The Shaco ending? Potentially.
You might be able to go invis and just backdoor this. If they leave base at all, Shaco has all opportunities to backdoor this team. Oh, he's going for it.
Oh my goodness.
He's going for it.
Interesting. Interesting.
He gets the kill.
Able to get the jinx. And then get away there. Wow. Okay.
We're getting the TP coming in inside of their base. That is the Artanis coming right in. Gets the double knock up. Come on, Heartsteel proc. Oh, the execute bars are so close. There's 1. There's 2.
And then
Jinx is already gone. Cassante is already gone. Game is over.
that is game number 2 going the way of CEI. That is a 2-0 sweep for CEI, and that secures them a spot in the NECC West Finals. That game will be happening next Wednesday. And we're going to wait to see who the opponent is for that. Unsure as it stands right now. Final thoughts on the game.
First game they played to a stalemate. right?
Right.
We saw up to that 16-minute mark. They really didn't have that much of a lead, but the second game they came out and they said we are going to win. They didn't even let it hit 30 minutes in the second game.
No.
With the scaling they had, they could have let it go to 30, 40 minutes and they would have been in a perfect spot.
Yeah.
But New Mexico could just not get a footing. They had a little bit of a lead there with those kills, but then they just lost it right immediately after.
Honestly, kind of a fleeting moment as far as that kill lead is concerned, but as far as gold was concerned over the course of the game, I don't think we ever really saw New Mexico State with a gold lead. It was kind of just CEI, again, we've said this before, just sort of imposing the will, and really not, I mean, 27 kills going to CEI, that's incredible. And honestly, we're looking at the total game, 28 minutes, 29 if we round up. That's almost a kill per minute on the side of CEI. That's kind of crazy as far as League of Legends is concerned.
Especially in a competitive environment.
Totally.
The gold lead here is insane. Most people on CEI had at least 3 or 4 items, where not even 2 or 3 on the enemy team in some cases.